I saw you're like a former D1 athlete, and yeah, I feel like you got a lot to offer, man. So just give us a little rundown if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Colorado, grew up ski racing, cycling, running, pretty much every sport. I ended up choosing cross country ski racing for some fucking reason as my sport of choice. And I ended up going to uh University of Denver, which is the best ski team in the country for college after skiing gap year full time. Skied there for 2 years. I started a sports nutrition company, and then during COVID, I ended up injuring myself mountain biking, and I split my shin open and then developed this ball of scar tissue under the bottom of my foot. That did not go away for 10 months, and there was no clear direction. I had doctors kind of giving me the look where they're relegating me to some condition that they don't know how to solve. And they didn't give me much hope and were basically saying, hang it up. It's probably, you're not going to walk within a year with no pain or potentially at all. So, you know, consider heavily quitting your sport
Wow.
and facing the reality that your career is over. And I tailspinned for about 2 weeks, continued to train upper body just to remain sane. Was trying meditation, but that was not working due to the barrage of intrusive thoughts. And so I ended up stumbling upon, I had used breathwork prior for performance, but I stumbled upon sort of Joe Dispenza, Wim Hof, Breath by James Nestor, and a few other resources, and just went down the rabbit hole. And I started doing that every morning for 30 minutes on my back in bed right when I woke up. And certain types of breath work, super not strict, just kind of following what felt good. And I wasn't doing it specifically to heal, just to kind of make myself feel like I was doing something every single day, some form of movement, moving my diaphragm. I was doing pretty much hyperventilation for 30 minutes every morning, for about 3 weeks. And then I decided one day to focus on my right foot for the entirety of the 30 minutes. And after the 30 minutes, I felt my right foot and found that my right foot was way warmer than my left foot. And I was like, oh, I'm consciously directing energy in my body
Hmm.
and resources, and just kept going down the rabbit holes. But that light bulb was really profound for me because I was like, I don't give a fuck if it takes me 10 years. I don't give a fuck if it takes me 20 years. If this is what I have to do to be able to walk again without pain, to be able to do what I love and to be able to heal myself, then I'll do it. And I was at the end of the road. So I did that for, 3 months straight of really intense breath work, 30 minutes every morning, and then throughout the day as well. Basically hyperventilating my way back to health without knowing what I was doing. And I had some more light bulb moments where I, got cut off in traffic and my nervous system didn't react. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I'm not really sure exactly what physiologically is happening to me right now, but I'm not reacting to stress as much in life now. And that was an interesting phenomenon. And so I ended up doing this for 3 months, slowly crawled my way back to the point where I could walk for, 5 minutes and then 4 minutes and then 6 minutes and then 5 minutes and then 6 minutes and then 7 minutes and then 8 minutes and then 5 minutes, and just like crawled my way to the point where I could walk for 30 minutes.
So
Then I started
so
running.
so you had lost the ability to walk completely.
I could walk, but I had this ball of scar tissue underneath my big metatarsal in my foot. So I looked like fucking all jacked up when I was walking, and it was
Yeah.
extremely painful to walk.
Wow.
So I was like, I can't. And if I am to try, if I walked a lot or if I just was on my feet a lot, it made it worse, drastically made it worse. And so it became this super psychological thing too, where there's a lot of fear around just like being on my feet. And
Yeah.
that really limited my ability to rehab. in general. So
So the
long
breath
story
was really,
short,
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, the breath healed me. First and foremost, I wasn't doing many like quantum health type practices at that point, but the breath is what got me back, and I was able to get back to full blown training. That was, January, February, March was really like dark night of the soul, just meditating or doing breath work as much as I could. By April, I was able to train and exercise. And by May 1st, when the season started again, technically, I was able to train pretty much full time. I mean, to this day, my right leg is still a little smaller, but doesn't affect me. I was able to race the next year, captain the team, go to Olympic trials, US nationals, all that kind of stuff. And that was a beautiful victory lap for me. And now I run ultra marathons, have this real sense of invincibility within my body. I feel that I am my own medical establishment and that I can use my breath not as a automatic transmission, but as a manual. So I don't have drive, neutral, reverse anymore. I'm shifting up before working out. I'm shifting down after working out. I'm shifting down before bed. I'm shifting down before a meal, that type of
Shifting
stuff. So,
shifting down is what you're saying? Cool. So can you
yeah.
kind of
So,
break, yeah, what is shifting down exactly?
so if your exhales are longer than your inhales, your heart rate goes down, your body temperature goes down, your nervous system is induced into more of a rest and digest state, and a couple other physiological factors. When your inhales are longer than your exhales, you are increasing the amount of oxygen, you're increasing your energy, you're increasing your heart rate, body temperature, your pupils are dilating, your blood vessels are opening up depending on how exactly you're breathing. But that's the basis in a nutshell.
Mm,
Inhales longer than exhales, energy, fight or flight.
yeah,
Exhales longer than inhales, rest and digest.
awesome. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people go through similar experiences, like when you were talking about the foot, feeling the energy on the foot during like a Vipassana meditation retreat where they don't where they're not speaking, it's like a vow of silence, so you're able to kind of tap into these other senses a bit more. And yeah, I've heard of people literally being able to direct physical energy and feel the stimulus of that energy through the breath and meditation on like physical points of their skin. So it's obviously, we're much more powerful than we realize in that aspect. Um, and yeah, I've had some of the most profound experiences of my life through like transformational breath work, holotropic breath work, Wim Hof breathing. I mean, so many different like modalities out there.
Mm.
But is there one you can kind of quickly like guide us through? Not
Yeah.
quickly, but like, a little quick session to those who are not smashing kettlebells on the beach and ready to rock with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. We can do a little one for sure.
Awesome.
What I'll do as well is after I'll walk you guys through it, and then I'll also show you a real profound example of how energy flows where attention goes. So,
Okay, beautiful.
um, what you guys will do is breathe in through your nose and your mouth at the same time if you can. I'm just going to talk about it first, and then I'm going to have you guys do it. So, either nose only or nose and mouth at the same time. If you really can't do either of those, do mouth, whatever, you'll live. Um, you're going to breathe in 4 seconds. You're going to breathe out 2 seconds. It's going to be like a Wim Hof. And then what I'm going to have you guys do is the vortex breath, which is 13 seconds in, 13 seconds out, 8 seconds in, 8 seconds out, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out, 2 seconds in, 2 seconds out, 1 second in, 1 second out. Hold. You'll release all the tension in your body. And then I'm going to walk you through quick attention meditation, if that works for you guys. So, yeah, I don't
How
know
do
how you
you
want to kick
how
it
do
off.
you do the through the nose and the mouth at the same time? Like, is it
Yeah.
like strong breath in through the nose and the mouth, or like a subtle where you barely feel it that it's going through it? Because I just tried it now and I kind of can't really
Mhm.
find it.
It takes a little bit of practice, but breathing not up. So you're going to like, when you try to breathe in through your nose, we visualize breathing up.
Mm,
Don't visualize breathing up or feel like you need to breathe up. Breathe directly
mm,
back towards your ears with both your nose and your mouth. So sort of like you're it takes a little bit of coordination to synchronize the nose and the mouth at the same time, but with some practice to do
And
it.
it's
You
like a
guys can be.
sharp, quick one, or like a long, drawn out.
So I'm gonna have you guys do. I'll have you guys do 15 breaths that are like this. Each inhale is going to be the purest expression of willpower. It's going to be relaxed, not panic breathing like most people do when they Wim Hof. So relaxed for about 4 seconds in, and then each exhale is the purest expression of acceptance, surrender. So on the exhales, release tension and relax your shoulders. And it's more of a sigh of relief than a forceful exhale. So, and then we'll do that 15 times. And then I will count you guys down. I'll be like, all right, 3 more breaths. And then you guys will exhale, and then you will want to breathe in very slowly. So get prepared to breathe in slowly 13 seconds. And then we'll go 13 seconds out. And then we'll go 8 seconds in, 8 seconds out,
And
5
this is
seconds, etc.
all nasal breathing.
Nasal or nose and mouth.
Okay.
If some of you guys have deviated septums or something, then just do it through your mouth. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much for these purposes, but it's best to breathe through your nose.
Okay. Yeah, let's begin, shall we?
Yeah, so I'll do it with you guys so you guys can follow my rhythm. And then when there's 3 left, I'll just say that there's 3 left. Okay. So we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 3 more. Out. Out. In. And your next inhale is 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Out for 13. 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. In for 8. 2, 8. Out for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In for 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out for 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. In for 3. 2, 3. Out for 3. 2, 3. In for 2. 1, 2. Out for 2. 1, 2. In for 1. Out for 1. Hold. Eyes closed. This is your sacred moment. Feel your entire body all at once. This is peak performance. This is flow state. This is you state. This is personal power and presence. When you can't hold your breath anymore, breathe normally, but keep your eyes closed. Now, what I want you guys to do is feel your right hand only. Just your right hand. Now I want you to feel your entire body all at once. Go back to feeling just your right hand. Now I want you to move your focus from your right hand up your arm, up your shoulder, into your neck, into the right hemisphere of your brain, and feel only your right brain. Really feel the right brain. Now I want you to feel only your left brain. Hold your attention in a relaxed way on the left side of the brain. Now I want you to feel your right brain again. Feel the shift in energy, feel the pressure in your temple as you shift your attention between brain hemispheres. This is your conscious superpowers of attention and intention at work. Now I want you to feel your entire brain all at once. Visualize your brain glowing with a green light. Take a big inhale in, and as you exhale, imagine this light draining down like a liquid down your brainstem, down, straight down, all the way into your heart and filling up your heart completely. When your heart is full, I want you to feel your entire body all at once. Relax the tension in the body. From this point on, when you meditate during in-between moments throughout the day, I want you to perform the 6 R's. They are recognize. You're going to recognize your thought. You're going to recognize the sensations in the body. You're going to release the thought, like cutting the string of a kite over your head. Recognize, release, relax the tension in your body. Re-smile. You will put a gentle smile on your face, and then you will return to your body and the sensations in your body. Recognize, release, relax, re-smile, return is a mental, physical override. Whenever you have a thought based on fear, based on the program, based on the matrix, based on all the reasons why you aren't enough or why you should be doing something more in your life, you smile at the fucking fear.
Mhm.
And the demons are very prideful. So when you smile at them, it takes out the rug from underneath them. You smile, you can laugh. That's funny. You think I'm going to play your game. You think you have power here. That's hilarious. Get fucked. I know exactly who I am. Start your day like that, and it's pretty hard to not achieve your dreams. So that's my guided meditation for you guys.
Beautiful, brother. Yeah, I think the visual representation of the heart and mind coherence there with the green energy going from the brain to the heart and then all over the body. That was powerful, man.
Yeah, I don't know if we're all men here, but we're hyperlogical and we're trying to use our system 1 conscious brain to make sense of the world. which is the dumbest part of us. Our nervous system's really smart. Our brain's really smart. We're all also really dumb, and our nervous system's really dumb, and it can misinterpret things. And so for us to hyperanalyze, use the logic brain, try to make sense of the world and get on the treadmill of thoughts, it's just a sure way to spiral into nothingness, mediocrityness. It's a sure way for you to fall into the frame of the program and society and the conditions and the lines of code that we've had running in our systems, the viruses that were placed there, and we didn't have the self-awareness to delete them or know that they weren't good for us. So when you just choose to not play the game and are very skeptical of the thoughts and have a disinterest in the thoughts and know that they are not you, you don't identify with them, and you get out of your mind and into your body, that's where all of your power is. Now you're in a place of embodiment, a state of embodiment. You're not trying to prove anything. It's not you versus the world. It's, I know exactly who the fuck I am, and I'm not going to let the world tell me who I am.
Yeah,
And
and
there's great power.
it takes repetition, reps to train that reflex, because the cultural programming has already done the reps and the repetition our whole lives. So it takes a lot of intention, like you're saying, and attention as well, to rewire the brain, rewire the spirit, and just be able to just at the drop of a hat, like smile, deflect everything, like you're literally Neo.
Mm-hmm.
So these types of practices are huge. So yeah, I think in the morning part particularly is huge to
Mm.
really get this practice going, so you're able to start from a foundation of your power and not externalizing your power immediately to the system, to the screen, to programming, to whatever's trying to tug at you, and you do what you need to do for yourself and for your spirit.
Yeah, and it's really 100%. I mean, it's really powerful to also know, and it takes a leap of faith, but like have faith that your body is good at getting rid of these lines of code, and it wants to get rid of these lines of code that are keeping you stuck and keeping your nervous system, you know, tied up in certain places, keeping the energy flow stuck. Your default mode is a state of power. It's a state of strength. You're a man.
Yeah.
It's a state of inner peace and harmony and bliss and joy. And that's the natural state. And if you just make the conscious decision, like I choose to believe that, then it's a matter of letting go. It's not a matter of like building yourself into something.
Yeah.
Just let go of the bullshit and you'll
Yeah,
naturally float up to the surface.
exactly. Yeah, it was there the whole time. And that power that's inside of you, that energy is what the system thrives on. It fuels. So the second it doesn't have it, it has no power over you. It's like literally laughable. Like you just laugh at it. You're like, no, not even a
Yep.
chance. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Does anyone have like any questions or comments you want to kind of that are floating
Yes.
around? What's up, brother?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say I love this guy. He has a big pecker energy. Much appreciated. Uh, do you have anything specific for, as you said, with your foot? I have some issues with my menisc, so I struggle with squats and such these days.
Mm.
They lock up every now and then, and I might have to do some surgery, some people say. This breath work, could this be done to relieve pain there so I can just completely ignore it and just keep squatting and doing whatever I want and do shenanigans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, have you gotten an MRI? Like, is there actually a tear there? Are you sure, or is it just something that's bothering you?
Yeah, I spent months not being able to work and not being able to walk properly. And then I just kept doing knee over toe guy stuff until I could walk without looking like a retard. And after that, I got back into like leg extensions and such, but it comes back every now and then.
Right. Yeah, I mean, your potential is going to be dependent on how much energy you have. So your pyramid can only go as high as it is wide. So a lot of what, you know, Homer talks about, a lot of what these health influencers and people and experts talk about is ways to become more healthy, but I see it more like, how can I become more energetic and then consciously direct that energy?
Right.
And energy sources are sunlight, grounding, pure water, pure food, semen retention, meditation, connection with others. And then with your conscious intention and attention, when you do breath work or when you do meditation, hold your focus on your knee with the amount of focus as if you were shuffling a pack of cards, very relaxed, but still just placing your attention there.
Mm.
And what you can do is, a powerful way to heal is to put ice on your knee while you're doing breath work. The ice is going to constrict your blood vessels. It's going to create a force against your blood vessels. And when you do breath work, suddenly you are pushing against that ice. You're pushing against the cold constriction. You're dilating your blood vessels out, making your vascular system more strong, which is going to send more blood to your knee on a 24/7 basis from there on out. Right now, there's an injury there. There's probably a good amount of inflammation, but because you maybe have not worked it out as much as you would have if it was healthy, it's not going to receive the resources that it normally would. A good way to send those resources is to tie your attention to your knee when you do breath work.
Mm.
Every single inhale is going to increase the amount of oxygen and resources, and oxygen is the absence of all disease. And okay, a lot of people just Wim Hof and get a bunch of resources, but it's like they're a bonfire. You want to be a flamethrower. Flamethrower your knee with healing resources using your mind. And that's going to, at the very least, accelerate healing. Now,
Yeah.
You may need surgery. Okay. But then you have the tools to be able to heal yourself quickly. I broke my arm and wrist last year, and the doctor said it was going to be 12-ish weeks to heal the bones. I healed it in 5 weeks. She said I might need surgery. My hand's great. Like,
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of red light. I was doing a lot of sunlight. I was doing a lot of stuff to just increase the amount of energy I have. And oxygen's pure energy too. So if you breathe in a lot of oxygen, not panic breathing, but if you load up on resources and then consciously direct that energy day after day, consistently regulating your nervous system, but loading up the bar,
Right.
and then sending that energy there, either in ice, sauna works too. Collagen's great, grounding's great. There's a ton of other things, but being in a state of homeostasis and equilibrium in your body, having your circadian rhythm dialed to a T is so powerful. And then you can start moving up the pyramid. Okay, now that I have a lot of resources and I have a regulated nervous system and my mindset is pretty good about it, and I'm not succumbing to the pain that could be fake pain signals, because I gave my body a job to heal, and now it's constantly sending me signals like, hey, I'm injured. And it's like, yeah, I fucking know. I told you that you were injured. So the signals can become this cycle where you spiral. So it's important to have skepticism about pain signals in and of themselves. Like, is that really real? And sometimes we can get into a cycle of fear where suddenly we aren't moving our knee at all because we're scared of hurting it. And what I would recommend, and this is not medical advice, but maybe you should go do something that you're a little afraid to do and start implementing some fear exposure into your healing process, because at a certain point, you got to draw a line in the fucking sand and be like, okay, a 0 out of 10 pain might be unrealistic, maybe for the rest of my life, but can I handle a less than a 4 out of 10 on pain? And this has to be your own metric that you decide upon. But for me, I was like, you know what? Fuck what these doctors are saying. I'm going to have, if I go for a walk and it's 5 minutes and my pain is less than 4, I'm not changing anything. I'm going to continue my training program. I'm going to continue trusting this process. If it's over 5, okay, tomorrow I'm going to take it down a little bit. I'm going to go a little easier. But pain is really slippery, tricky, and that's because your nervous system is your brain, just in your body. You have your brain, your knee, sending you signals, and it can be sending false flags. So that's what I would say. And once you have pain mentally under control and physically under control, you have a ton of energy, you have a regulated nervous system, then you could start introducing things like BPC 157 or, you know, certain healing modalities. Maybe then you really consider surgery. But that's what I would say to answer your question, to help accelerate healing. You know, it's never going to be a pill though. It's breath work. And so
Is it
it
gonna be
takes
2
work.
pills? I like it. I like your viewpoint on it. So basically, the body is a dynamo, so to say, like a dynamo. The more you move, the more energy, the better it
Yeah,
works, and also the electronics in the
Cyclical.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Don't stagnate. Your body is going to give you the energy that you demand of it.
yeah. I'll look into your breath
Exactly.
work, and I'll tell my niece they're faggots.
Yeah, I love it. I appreciate the question, man.
Thank you.
Jack
far
in the
as
chat is asking about box breathing. Do you do box breathing? What do you think about box breathing?
I think box breathing is good. I think that it's a really powerful modality.
Yeah.
I would say that it's also, it's not going to get to the depth of your core being. It's not going to necessarily unlock the code and put the internal code in edit mode, where suddenly you can start deleting lines of code and that kind of thing. Maybe if you did box breathing for an hour straight, 30 minutes straight, sure, you could get deep. But there are more powerful ways. But I think that it's a great thing, and it's a simple thing too. And so limbic friction, mental friction, how do I make the breath work easy is really the key. Like, for everyone here, just make it easy for yourself. It's going to be your own journey. It's going to be what resonates with my body and my soul. And maybe if I get on a streak, like I just got on a streak when I was healing, I'm like, I'm doing breath work every single day. I don't care if you gotta kill me to do it. I'm gonna do it. And I promised myself, I was like, 30 conscious breaths every single day counts as breath work. Okay.
Yeah.
If I do 30 every day, I check the box. And it gets a lot easier. Your diaphragm gets stronger, your intercostal muscles get stronger, you get more in touch with how to breathe and make it easy for yourself and the rhythm and the stuff. So
And what's
I'd
your
recommend.
go-to? Like obviously you've done a bunch. Like right now I love like 4-7-8 breathing. Like
Mhm.
what's your go-to if you're just gonna get a quick breath work session? Is like what's the posture? Are you laying down? What's the intention behind just the daily practice? If there's nothing to physically heal or anything, like what's the go-to there?
So my go-to is what I'm calling the Vortex method.
Yeah.
So it incorporates, and you know, a lot of these breathwork facilitators, frankly, are super dangerous. I think, like, menaces to society because they all teach you methods where you can easily pass out, and that's why people die Wim Hofing. That's why people die doing breathwork. Like, I didn't have any guidance. I passed out driving once. I passed out in the shower.
I almost
I
passed out
concussed
here in
myself.
my chair. I almost passed out in the
Really?
beginning. Yeah. I was almost there. I had to stop. I had to just chill a little bit.
Good to know.
I was like, bro, I'm the spearhead here. I can't just collapse out of my chair. Yeah.
Um, I would not have been great. Fuck. Yeah, so anyways, I mean, yeah, you got to be careful. Breathwork is deep. It's hardcore stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's, you know, I think a lot of normal people get turned off because it has this woo-woo culture around it. But I see everything through the lens of performance. What is true is what works. And for me, I had passed out a couple times. I passed out on a bench and I ended up getting whiplash and concussing myself.
Wow.
And this was a month and a half before Olympic trials. And I realized that I had just been in sympathetic overdrive, fight or flight, for a long time. And part of that was because I was basically doing like fight or flight inducing breath work every morning. And so what I created from that point on is, let me do a Wim Hof style, inhales longer than exhales, energizing breath in the beginning of my breath work session, right in the morning.
Inhales longer than exhales.
So I get a ton of resources, ton of oxygen, open up everything, and then After I've cultivated energy, let me circulate the energy. So I go inhales longer than exhales. And then I go inhales as long as exhales. So 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. You can visualize it like this. Okay. Getting energy, revving up the engine. And then I start circulating. Inhale, exhale, same amount of time. And then I start doing exhales longer than inhales. Okay, now I'm downshifting into rest and digest. Let me just get a fuckload of resources and then shift down into rest and digest so that my body can heal itself in the best way and most efficient way. All these resources, find equilibrium, find rest and digest, vortex breath into a meditation where I'm sitting there, and in the morning I'm no longer in beta wave state, which is more for like hunter type wave state where you're supposed to be shooting animals and chasing after shit and stuff. But in the modern world, you wake up and you get an email and 99% are suddenly in beta wave state. You skip alpha, and alpha is where you're tapped in, present, tapped into the subconscious, in your power, calm, cool, collected, convicted, that type of thing. And so that is going to, all right, I wake up, exercise. Maybe I'm in beta wave state because I'm stressed out about something later that day. But I circulate and cultivate all that energy. And then I'm able to concentrate all of that energy and pinpoint single pointed focus, single pointed presence in the body towards, really, I've just been focusing on like the sensations in my body without an agenda and allowing for whatever feeling is there to be there. Because if I resist, what you resist persists. So if you resist a feeling in your body, then you're closing the loop and you're just going to suffer all day long. Oh, I'm super anxious. Fuck, I don't want to be anxious. Well, that's exactly how you stay anxious.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm really anxious this morning. But I'm just going to sit in the shit and I'm just going to sit in the tension for 30 minutes and just accept it. And when we accept it, suddenly it's not a closed loop anymore. And I can have control and meet whatever that courage or whatever that anxiety is from with courage. So from that point, when I open my eyes after the meditation, I'm in alpha wave state. And I have a lot more power and control over my day from that place. So that's like a go-to meditation in the morning. Kind of showed it to you guys this morning or just now. We did 15 energizing breaths straight into a vortex. It's like 30 to 50 energizing breaths, 30 to 50, 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, and then a 30 to 50 exhales longer than inhales, rest and digest breath, vortex. Sit there, clear the mental inbox, let the body do what it's going to do, feel the feelings, feel the sensations, be present, be grateful for the little things so that you can be a vibrational match for the things that you desire. If all you do is put out want, I want more money, I want a hot chick, I want a mansion, I want this, I want that, all you're going to get back is want. And so I'm really honing in on like focusing on taking a step back from the program and being a vibrational match for what I want by just being grateful for what I have.
Beautiful.
And that's a morning breath work. And I can go into some other ones.
And gratitude is, I mean, that's classic Joe Dispenza, right? Like states of gratitude, bliss, those are love, very high frequency. And then, desire, all these other low base frequencies just don't match you up with where you actually want to be. So that's huge. And when you're doing the in for 6, out for 6, is that also both nose and mouth, or in nose, out mouth?
I do. You really want to be aiming for breathing quietly. Like, okay. I don't want to sound like I'm huffing and puffing. I don't want it to sound forced. So I will do nose and mouth at the same time for the energizing breath. And then I'll do nose breathing for the rest of the time. Because, okay, sure, it's fine to induce a bit of a fight or flight. I actually think, all these breathwork facilitators are like, everyone's stuck in fight or flight and they're stressed out. I'm like, a lot of people are stuck in rest and digest, and they're languishing and they're procrastinating and they're like inertia. It's like, maybe you need to pound out 30 breaths through the nose and the mouth at the same time and jolt yourself out of the state that you were in. And then, okay, now that we have all these resources, rest and digest, trust that the body is going to heal and rejuvenate from that place of relaxation. If my heart rate's super low, my energy is not scattered, and I'm super relaxed, there's not a lot of tension in my body, but my body has a fuck lot of resources in it, it's going to heal itself. So that's part of it. I also include some breath work or some breath holds, which are really powerful for helping your heart health, brain health. My focus and intention right now is presence, but it's changed. It was like, let me heal my bones. Let me increase like my IQ. Let me release tension in my body and muscle memory. And, you know, it takes like around 8 hours, 8 to 40 hours for you to automate muscle memory in your body, depending on your level of skill. And if you're an athlete, it's probably 8 hours-ish. So if you get 5 minutes every single morning of like good practicing out of like releasing out of thoughts, releasing out of tension, that's 150 minutes a month. So you're looking at around 3 months, and you could be living in a body that is free of tension. 20% feels like a 20% orgasm in your body 24/7, and you're present and you're not succumbing to bullshit thoughts. So 3 months of like work, and you could be in a completely different minded body.
Beautiful. That's powerful, man. Have you ever found benefit from those? Because like you said, like the way you started or the way you were introduced to breath work was a lot of the fight or flight classic, like Wim Hof holotropic type stuff where you're hyperventilating, which a lot of people have found benefits from as well, but like in a different realm, right? Not like so intentional with it, like radiating the future you want and meeting up with that presence, but more like in the moment kind of like revelations while you're like curling up, lack of oxygen type of thing. Like that's most of the experiences that I've had, like in a ceremony or a bunch of people laying on a mat. How did you ever find benefit from that when you first started?
I didn't realize it, but I am a big believer that you delete these lines of code through breath work automatically. What's interesting is that as we do the hard work, we do the shadow work, we relax out of tension, we relax out of bullshit in our lives, we suddenly make those things unconscious. So we're not even aware of how far we've come. We're not even aware of the thought patterns that were half subconscious that are no longer ruling over us and operating. So we're so focused on like the shovel of shit that we're shoveling that we haven't looked at how small the pile has gotten.
Yeah.
I'm a huge believer that that pile was massive when I was injured and depressed, and I just shut down my second business and blah, blah, blah. And it helped me mentally get into a more positive mindset, and thoughts dictate our reality. And so my thoughts were super negative, keeping me stuck. But through the breath work, I do believe, you know, trauma is, it settles in the body.
Yeah,
Like after
100%.
these Native Americans would go to war with each other, they would do ecstatic dance because they knew I need to dance and move the body to get the trauma out. Or if you see something gnarly happen to an animal, they'll be shaking like crazy. But humans, we just integrate that shit.
Yeah, gets stuck inside of us. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. One of the, like, just to kind of break it down quick, like one of the experiences I had with breath work, like the most memorable one was I basically it was into the nose, twice out to the mouth, just for like 45 minutes straight, almost an hour. And it gets to the point where you're not even consciously or intentionally keeping that rhythm. The body just like gets into this mode, and I was just going. And after about like 15, 20 minutes, I started getting like intense visions, intense emotions. I felt basically the visions I had. My hands were up here, but in my mind, I felt, talking about trauma, like I felt my father come from under the earth, grab, it was like an Alex Gray painting, like all those colors and and psychedelic visuals. Like my father was grabbing both my fingers and pulling them down with force and like rage and aggression down, and the whole vibe was just very dark and red. And then I felt my grandfather come from behind both of us and grab both of our fingers and start bringing it down with him. And the message was basically like, it's just no one's fault. It's all generational, and you are holding on to everyone's pain from your ancestry. Like I felt all the generations pulling each other's pain down. And then I felt the presence of my mother, like a blue presence, come and nurture everyone, just hold everyone's pain at the same time. And it was basically like allowed me to really, really break that curse. Like I had a huge 3-hour conversation with my father after about any and all problems we've ever had. It was like one of the most healing experiences I've ever experienced. So if anyone hasn't had anything like that, like find a breath work near you, or obviously you can do it here, you can do it in your home, but the healing potential within the breath is just huge. Yeah.
I mean, I'd recommend anyone to begin exploring this stuff. It is deep though. Like people have like full blown orgasms on the mat doing this type of breath work. Like people start crying, people start screaming, people
Yeah.
get violent.
Yeah.
It gets deep because your mind, body, and spirit are not separate. You're one unified vessel of power, of energy. You're one energy. And so the breath is unconscious. You're all breathing automatically right now. But when you bring your consciousness to the breath, suddenly you're in control. Suddenly you are able to channel the will of God, channel your willpower to a desired outcome. And sometimes that's an unforeseen outcome where stuff comes up, stuff bubbles up. I mean, to your point, I had an experience where I went into the woods for 3 days, fasted for those 3 days, alone, like nothing. I was like, I'm gonna be as bored as fuck. And on the third day, and this is not fucking medical advice, but I broke it with psilocybin mushrooms, meditated. I had meditated like 4 hours the day before in the rain and went into all of the times in my life where I felt unworthy and unloved, like a piece of shit and all this stuff. So I had liberated all of this fear, but it was still in me. So the next day I break it with psilocybin. I'm meditating for 2 hours. And then on the come down, and this is when I was called to like actually put my voice out online and start posting on Instagram, posting on Twitter. I was like, fuck, I don't want to do that. Like, I hate the idea of doing that. I hate what people think of me. I hate all this stuff. But I was like, fuck, I have to do this. Like, I feel called to do this. And I journaled about it. I navigated it through, my dumbass mind and thinking. But I decided I laid down and I breathed as hard and as fast as I could for as long as I could, pretty much. And that was full-blown spiritual experience. Felt like I was crying, screaming, I was punching shit. It felt like I got rid of a demon. Felt like I got rid of like my great grandfather, my grandfather, my father's trauma. Feel like I actually embraced and like forgave myself for not loving and being as kind to my mom as I should have been, and a bunch of other stuff. Like it all just came out, and it was like the closing scene in Gladiator. It felt like.
Yeah. During my experience, I was bawling profusely, uncontrollably. Like I had no control over it. It that's a good way to put it, man. It really did feel like I let go of some shadow realm demon that was just on my spirit my whole life, and I just breathed that motherfucker away.
And it's powerful because like how much mental strength would you need to get to that point using only your mind, to the point where you work through the trauma with just the mind, to the point where you're bawling uncontrollably? Like, I don't think that you can do that.
No,
I just don't think you can. I think that you could be a really skilled, monk sitting under a tree for 40 years and you could get to that point. But we're men of the material world in 2024. So
yeah, then we wouldn't be here with all these handsome chads on a Zoom call right now all across the world. Yeah, man.
Chat, full of chats. I really appreciate just the time, the air time.
Yeah, man. I think it was a productive hour, bro. If anyone has any like finishing questions or comments, but I think we've covered a lot, and I mean, really appreciate you jumping on, Nick, for real.
Yeah, no, appreciate you.
God
Thank you.
bless you, Nick.
Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you, Nick.
Appreciate you, man.
I'm gonna be DMing you on Instagram if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit me up.
Yeah.
I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to help. I got resources as well. And that sort of, 3-day fast breath work is the capstone of my program now because it was so profound. So if you make it to the end of the 3rd month, I walk you through that breath work and that meditation.
Okay.
So
Awesome, man.
yeah, if anyone has questions, happy to answer.
What made you want to incorporate the use of psilocybin mushrooms? I'm a huge fan. I microdose on the regular, but it's nice that you incorporate them with breath work. Was it like a Native American practice that got your attention, or was just you figured the connection between the two?
I had done psilocybin prior, and I have always done
I need
psilocybin
to shower. I need to go.
We wanted to go early.
in the woods barefoot.
Yeah,
And
like I was like,
that was just how I operated. So it
Travis,
was something that I had never been able to do, like breath work though. Like I had never incorporated the breath work, and I felt at a point in my life where I was ready for it and strong enough for it. And yeah, I mean, we moved through I moved through the darkness with it and just felt like it just felt right, like intuitively. The whole weekend was aimed towards being as bored as I could possibly be because boredom breeds intuition. And that voice got very loud in my head, and it was like very intentional. Let me go into all of the times. Like I think, I assume we're mostly men here. So when you're young, you think that your father is God to you, but then suddenly your father makes you feel conditionally lovable. It's like you have to act a certain way, you have to do a certain thing in order to get God's love, because we're children, we don't know. And so then you internalize that and you integrate that, and that's why so many men are just like chip on the shoulder, need to prove myself, need to work so hard and try so hard to prove my worth and prove that I am unconditionally lovable. Well, fuck that. You should be your own inner parent and go into all of those moments during a meditation, extended meditation, and taste and smell and hear and feel what you were feeling when you were 6 years old and your dad did XYZ. Feel what that felt like. Feeling the feelings will liberate the fear and will liberate the pattern. All of these thoughts that you have in your brain are just due to unfelt feelings.
Yeah, no, and doing that practice also helps you realize like the memories you didn't even know control the beliefs on a daily basis. Like if you really sit with that for 10 minutes, some memory will pop up that you think you haven't thought about in years, but it's really controlling the whole show in the background of your beliefs and your actions and everything that kind of dictates your whole reality. So the second you change that story, you change how you interface with the world around you, and it's profound.
Yeah, like I'll feel powerful when I have money. I'll feel happy when I have XYZ. Like they're just illusions that we've tricked ourselves into. And if you go in and trigger yourself, because all stress is internal, you go in and trigger yourself instead of letting the world trigger you. Well, now you're less reactive to the world and you can be more in your power in any situation. And if you are able to be the inner parent for that inner child and see that inner child, well, suddenly the little kid feels safe and you can be like, yeah, fucking trust me, I've got this. And now the little kid inside of you can go into the world and have more joy and adventure and play and be like, yeah, we don't have to slave train our way through life. We can enjoy this and we can have fun with it. We can enjoy the process and be present and not live under these stupid ass illusions that we convinced ourselves we need to do something to be worthy. Your self-worth is fucking fake.
Thanks, man. I think that's a great note to cap it, bro.
Thank you,
make
guys.
our own self-worth out there, guys. It was great having you all here, bro. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
All right.